All right, guys, Joker Boxing. I'm here with eBoxing News, Stuart Little, and Errol Jarrett. And we're going to go ahead and talk about this fight, Erislandy Lara versus Austin Trout. eBoxing News, what do you think of this one?
It's going to be definitely a fight for, the ones who don't like blood and guts. Don't expect too much from this fight in terms of excitement. Yeah. There's not much else you can really say about it.
You're not thrilled about this one. You're not thrilled about this fight.
I'm not. This is not the one I'm looking forward to on the thing. No.
Okay, interesting. Stuart, what do you think?
It's definitely a fight for the boxing purist. But I actually quite like the fight. Actually, I think the two styles will mix quite well. I mean, we've got Lara, who's a counter puncher, and Trout, who throws quite a lot of punches. I mean, both very slick boxers, and I can see where Mark's coming from. It could be a stinker, but I actually think it could be a decent fight because Lara can knock you out. He can, he's definitely got the capability of knocking you out. I'm not sure about Trout's power, but Trout's very underrated. I mean, Trout could have a hell of a fight, and I actually think Trout could do a number on Lara. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight. I mean, I'm a bit more excited about it than Mark. So yeah,
sounds good. See, I'm with you, man. Errol, what do you think of this fight, man?
Yeah, man. Like it's one of them ones for the purists. You're gonna get a classic styles of mixed with boxing. Probably, for the purist, man, it's probably gonna whichever way it goes is gonna be a points decision. I can't really see a knockout, but maybe a knockdown. I mean, you've seen already with Canelo knocking down Trout. That could happen because Lara has the power, so you might edge the power. But Trout, if Trout brings his game as has more confidence than he is when he went against Canelo, you can see it going that way. But it's for the purist in that, you know what I mean? And it's not really this type of fight where you're gonna get blood and guts. You're gonna get a fight of people moving around and thing. You can see. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some booze in that fight. But we'll see because the styles. Lara, he's counter boxing and Trout is a counter boxer. Kind of slug like a counter boxer and puncher, but it's just one for the purists. So we'll see. We have to see how it goes, man.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. I think everybody made some good points, but I'm going to lean toward what Stuart said. I think that I like these two guys. I think that the reason that this fight is going to be a good fight to me is because there's a lot on the line. All right, there's big title implications for the winner of this fight. Sure, stylistically, I could see where anybody would have their reserves about this fight, thinking that it could potentially be a stink fest if both of these guys decide they want to come out and be on the back foot. Yeah, it could be a little bit boring potentially, but I mean, the winner of this fight, it's such a risky fight for both of these guys. That's why I'm impressed that the fight was made to begin with. I think that moving forward, somebody can take a huge step back and someone can take a huge step forward. If Erislandy Lara gets the win, then he's definitely knocking on Canelo's door at this point, and he's been knocking on Canelo's door for a minute now. So all of a sudden, then we have some interesting fights, and there's even that crowd of people that says, "Hey, Mayweather, you need to fight one of these two guys." So depending on who wins this fight and the way they win the fight, as far as the excitement level, how big the fight is, there could definitely be some big implications for the winner. Now, this is going to be the tricky part of this. Let's go ahead and talk about who has the advantages. Basically, let's talk about speed, power, and defense. eBoxing News, who do you give those advantages to?
Well, like I said, this is very similar to one of the fights we talked about. But, in terms of speed, we've got Erislandy Lara has got good hand speed on single punches because he doesn't throw any combinations at all. You can probably count every punch he throws on one hand in a round, right? Austin Trout is the polar opposite. He throws a lot of punches and he's got decent hand speed. So I'll give so it depends what you want, what you're looking for again. Single shots, Erislandy Lara. Combinations, Austin Trout. Right, moving on, power. Austin Trout doesn't seem to have that much power. Erislandy Lara probably has the better power, slightly. He put a bit of damage on Pero, didn't he, and Gulo. And what was the one? Defense? I think they're both going to have good defense in this fight. Not many punches going to land. Two counter punches in the ring together. There's never been a good fight where there's been two counter punches fighting each other. Never.
I I hear you. Yeah, this fight does sound a lot like Paulie versus Zab. So it's kind of interesting that those fights are on the same card because, yeah, you got your guy who has the bigger power advantage, but he doesn't throw as much punches as the other guy. So, yeah, it definitely sounds a lot like that fight. Stuart, what do you think? Who do you tip the scales in favor of which fighter?
Well, with timing and power, obviously Lara, because he's a very good counter puncher, and anyone that cracks the eye socket of Angulo has definitely got a good punch. So you can't take that out of the equation. But I've got a feeling that Trout's going to come into this fight and he's going to throw a lot of punches. I think it could make it exciting. I mean, obviously, if Trout goes on the back foot and boxes like he did against Cotto, then I'm going to be asleep. But I've got a feeling Trout will throw a lot of punches, and I've got a feeling he's going to get stuck into Lara. It's whether he can take Lara's shots or not, because Lara has proved he's got a hell of a bang on him. But like Mark said, very low work rate, and if you can keep on your feet and not get knocked out by Lara, there's a very good chance you can win on points.
Yeah, I just want to add on a little something. Erislandy Lara goes missing in rounds for 2 minutes at minimum sometimes. Mm-hmm. So even in this fight, and it's not even started. This is the predictions, right? He's already running the risk of being robbed already, because his work rate is so dire.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's going to be a hard one, man. This is one of the trickiest fights probably of the year to call. And you can make an argument for either guy. Arrow, what do you think, man? Who are you tipping the scales in favor of?
Well, the Rim Magazine rankings, they've got Trout as number 2, and they got Arizona number 4. So, Trout's got quite a lot to lose. He was just a former champion, but he just lost. And he lost, even though in that fight, I'll be controversial, but I feel like he won that fight against Canelo. I know some people feel like Canelo won that fight, but I feel like he won that fight. But the bottom line, he lost, and his confidence is weighing. Lara's just come off a confidence builder, beating the big bad Angulo, who's supposed to be a beast. He just beat that guy. I think Lara's coming in very confident into this fight, and I feel like he feels like he can put some damage on Trout, who probably is going to be on his back foot. So I think it's the right timing for Lara, and I think right now Trout is a very awkward opponent for Trout. And if you think about Lara's like Canelo in a way, where he can counter and hit him, and I don't think Trout doesn't do well with getting hit, as we've seen. So I think Lara seems like he's just got. Right now, Lara seems like it's the right timing for Lara. If it was before, like just after he fought Cotto, I'd have said, nah, man, Trout would have won. But right now, in this timing, I got Lara coming on well. I think Lara's going to win comfortably on points. I think Trout's just going to run the whole ring, run around the whole ring, and not really do anything much. And so I got Lara, man.
Yeah, you bring up some good points, man. And yeah, timing is everything. The thing is, where I'm at with all this thing, man, is like, Erislandy Lara, he's another one of these guys. It's typical with a lot of guys on this card. They're very unpredictable. Okay, we've seen this guy put up stinkers. We've seen him put up master classes. Okay, so, and more often than not, to his credit, I think we've seen him have some pretty good performances, Erislandy Lara. So it's really hard to gauge, man. But I think the thing is, yeah, Trout is the more active guy. So he's going to have to be active. He's going to have to come forward and really bring the fight to Erislandy Lara. And a lot of people think this might be a boring fight with the clash of styles, but if both of these guys come out and want to go toe-to-toe, you'd be surprised. We might actually get a very exciting fight in Trout versus Erislandy Lara, especially with as much that is at stake. I think both of these guys should, in theory, bring their A game. Now, ultimately, as far as the scales, I got to give most of the advantages to Lara. I do, as far as power, speed. The only edge I'd give to Austin Trout is potentially defense, because when he is on the back foot and he's using his long arms to back you off, using his jab kind of as a defensive weapon, he can be hard to hit. But in the same breath, when he's doing that, obviously he's not scoring points, right? So he's going to have to be more aggressive, in my opinion, to have a chance. But let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Let's go ahead and get into our predictions, e-boxing news. What do you think? How do you see this fight going?
I see punch decision, probably controversial, to Austin Trout being the victor. Don't drink alcohol watching this fight. You will go to sleep. That's all I'm going to say. Controversial decision. Do not drink alcohol. Get caffeine ready.
Well, you need to be telling that to yourself, man, because we know how you get during fights. But no, I hear you, man. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Stuart, what do you think?
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with Mark. I think we could see a good fight. It's usually the fights. Usually fights you think are going to be stinkers actually turn out to be quite good fights. So I'm just hoping it could be like. I've got a feeling Trout's going to win on points because I think he's got better hand speed and I think he's going to throw more punches. So, yeah, I'm going to go Austin Trout points win.
All right, AJ, you kind of started getting into your prediction in the last round. What do you think, man? Go ahead and break down how you see this one going.
Yeah, man. Right now, like I said, I put it up before. I always kind of jump in on my prediction a bit early, but I think Lara just timing right now, and Trout's still dealing with his confidence. Trout's got a lot riding on this right now. He couldn't afford it in, but I feel like it suits Lara because Trout maybe feel like he's under pressure to perform, and Lara, that suits Lara. Like he'll just be there countering him and hurting him and Trout. And so I think Lara comfortably win on points. Unanimous decision. So I got Lara.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I think everybody's made some really good points. All of my boxing sense tells me to pick Erislandy Lara to win this fight. I mean, we pretty much went through it. He has most of the advantages. He's had the better performances. You know, everything in my mind tells me to pick Erislandy Lara. But you know what? I'm going with my heart. I'm going with my gut. And I hope that my guy Austin Trout pulls it out, man. I really like Austin Trout. And I think that if he comes in there with kind of a Paulie Malignaggi game plan, he's very active, keeps distance well, I think he can outpoint Erislandy Lara. I think he can. And maybe he could put pressure on him. We've seen Erislandy Lara, when he gets pressure put on him, and like we saw that in the Vanez Martirosyan fight, he didn't do too well with that pressure, okay? Lara's a guy that if you keep him too much at a distance and you let him do his own thing, he's going to look really good in there. So you have to get in his face. And I think Austin Trout has the skill to do that. So I'm going with Austin, no doubt. Trout, and going with the guy who probably is the underdog, in my opinion. So that's what I think, man. Does anybody have any closing thoughts about this one?
No.
No, not me.
Nope.
Man, everybody is really enthusiastic about this Austin Trout versus Erislandy Lara. Nah, man, I think
it's like I said, it's definitely one for the boxing purist. It's not going to be award gatty. Let's get that straight. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I've got a feeling we might get surprised. I've got a feeling that Austin Trout's going to get stuck in, and we might get a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kovalev fans, Triple G fans, they need not watch.
Yeah, you might have a point there, but you know what? The thing is, I think because a lot of people have a low expectation for this one, like Stuart brought up, we might be surprised. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised, and I think this one will actually be one of the more exciting fights of that night. Those are my thoughts on it. But as always, you guys let us know what you think. That's eBoxing, Stuart Little, and Errol Jarrett. You guys go ahead and check those guys out. Subscribe to their channels. Leave us your thoughts and let us know, what do you think about this fight? Erislandy Lara versus Austin Trout. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Peace.